Okay, the November meeting of the Board of Water Commissioners hereby called to order. Reading of the minutes of the previous meeting. I have a motion to accept unless there's changes or edits to it.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion or questions? I don't know. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We're still auditing the bills and accounts,
Yes.
okay? Jump ahead to Finney Water Dam.
It's still pretty much the same update. We're working on 60% design plans and specs. Was it last week or the week before? Derek and I had to go out and we did go get a few measurements from the well house for Schnabel, just so we could verify a few things on the depth. And we gave that to them. So still hoping to have something before the end of the year, but I thought we may have something by November. So it is taking a little bit longer than expected, I think. We're still working.
Everything online.
Okay. More to come on that one then, huh?
Hopefully soon.
The 2026 budget. I mean, I'm assuming you're still waiting for the
Yeah, we haven't got health numbers yet.
health numbers.
Who knows when that's gonna, I think they promised late November, but
Should we wait until next month? That way you have a better number, or do we approve it based upon what you have there?
I mean, I don't know what that number is gonna be. I mean, I don't know if there's a reason not to wait if you want to see what those numbers are, and on the off chance that they're significantly lower than what I've estimated. But there's also a decent chance that we're not gonna have those numbers by December
8th or 10th. Anyway,
so we could potentially hold off if we want to do that.
what's the opinion of the rest of the board on the budget? We had our budget meeting last week and that sent out the
Could
Revise.
we approve the budget and then if by chance the health numbers come back substantially different, we could make an amendment
to it.
before the end of the year. I mean, then that way your team could at least start getting things ready and you let any of the towns know.
I got a call earlier from
Yeah.
Ulster today. I told them I'd call tomorrow and see if there's an official number for them.
Well, that way we can give them an official number, and
May help.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
but then again, I don't know if
I feel like
those
in the
numbers come up
last,
substantially higher. Will that change our number? And
I mean, I feel like the last
Change
3
their
or 4
number.
years, we've done it without having the numbers finalized. I don't think I've had health insurance numbers for,
you're pretty confident,
least
Phil, on what you think you put in there?
I
In
mean,
fact, you could.
I'm usually more aggressive than I need to be on the
Okay.
health, but again, first 2 years I was here, we always had the numbers by the end of October, November, but it just, the state's gone the other way with these health insurance numbers and they just take longer and longer each year, so. You know, as confident as I can be with limited information on what they're gonna do. We had the MVP number, not that anybody's on that, but we had the percentage for that, and it was a little more aggressive with the help for the state than the MVP put forth, so. I think I was at 7 and I put in 10, my estimates, so
Okay.
hopefully it's not, they're usually fairly in line with each other.
How much did you put in for the Empire?
10.
10?
For all of our sakes, I hope it's not another, I hope it's not more than a 10% increase.
Yeah. I believe
Well, it's not
MVP
gonna
was,
sink the ship if it is, right?
it's a big piece, but.
Yeah.
We can make it work. Hopefully, I mean, it's more of a, I think for the employees, so that it's not too much larger. It's a big.
Yeah,
chunk.
because they got a big chunk out of it. They got a big hit.
Yeah.
Just like we do. No, I mean, I don't think it's gonna change.
I hope this is gonna be lower
mean,
than that.
The proposal with the budget is for increase of, what was it, 4.5?
4.5.
I mean, yeah, I can't imagine it, just that one line item affecting that rate, find some savings someplace else or whatever. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2026 budget as presented.
Man, as presented, it's got the 10% estimate increase.
For the health insurance, there's a 10% estimate in there, yep.
Okay, so I have a motion. Got a motion, Ray,
Uh,
to accept the
no,
budget?
yeah, so,
Okay, I have a second.
Second it.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, so that's the second part of that then is we have to have a motion to increase the water rates by 4.5%, correct?
Yep, and I included the rate schedule in the memo there,
Okay,
at least the top part of the rate schedule, the rest was all based on the.
okay, so I'll entertain a motion to increase the water rates by 4.5%.
I'll make a motion to move that we increase the water rates by 4.5%.
second,
Okay, any further discussion there? Okay, those in favor? Opposed? And carried. You can let Mr. Van Fleet then know for his purposes.
I'll call John tomorrow. Next month I will have fee schedule with a few changes. We had reached out to our vendor to get some updated pricing on some of the meters, so I'll have that for next month, but we can do that in December.
Didn't our rate say whatever the cost was? Or do we actually have,
So it would be the rate schedule, I'm sorry, fee schedule. Did I say rate schedule? And then fee schedule.
no, but the fee schedule for water meters or for everything?
So it's more for like the frozen meters and
Okay.
the stuff like that, the services that we go out and do either during regular time or after hours.
Okay,
We don't put the meter prices and the tap prices on anymore.
right, because they
So-
fluctuate so often,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, it's. So it's really the water meter services.
Essentially, is where the
Okay.
So a few changes on those, not everything, just a couple of those items.
Okay. Capital improvement plan.
So I sent the full draft out because it was a lot of pages and I want to print that and mail it. And then I sent the summary pages in the packet for everybody. Again, there's still holes in it. It's kind of things that need to be done, but since we've been talking about it, I figured might as well send it out so everybody can get a look. Anybody has comments, questions?
Yeah, I don't know how
We can-
far I actually got to looking at.
I know I didn't send it out until Monday in terms of the
So
full
we'll kind of just-
document, so.
Table this or put
Yeah, we
this
have
on
it.
hold.
I mean, while we have it, one of the things that I know we didn't get a chance to do whenever we did that tour, we never did the upper half of the tour, so maybe in the spring, that's something that the board might want to do. From Cooper down to Water, we had done the city tour.
Right, the
Beckman
last
tour a
time.
few years ago. And then we hadn't done the northern part of the system, so kind of in the same idea as the capital plan. That's something that maybe the board will want to do when it's a little warmer.
Yeah,
The only brief thing that I had that would definitely help us, I think maybe further the conversation about whether we should be holding on to reservoir 1 or 2, or, is, what potential future costs we may have to actually have to repair that dam ourselves. Which could, if we start to see like $1 million show up on the capital plan in the future, it may make us want to dispose of those properties or find a willing partner
Correct.
dispose of those properties sooner than later. If we see that, hey, in 5 years from now, we're gonna have to spend $1 million, it's good for us to carry that number somewhere.
Like good space for some time.
So,
Yeah, we've been talking about that for a while. I guess it's just finding. Right.
finding the
Yeah.
right people, finding the right, but we kind of need some pressure to push us along, and having that number sit on our balance sheet for a couple of years. Well, I can keep us a reminder that we need to figure that out.
What level dam is that classified at?
It's not a high hazard.
Well, I know.
The next one, so it's.
Next one,
down
medium or
is-
whatever, or-
Yeah, two is a problem. It's a masonry dam, and probably the best thing at this point to keep is to breach it. It doesn't really serve any purpose. It has, the capacity is minimal, like 1 million gallons. It used to be, was the original dam for the city.
Yeah, but we don't even use any of that anyway, it just
You don't use it.
flows down the saw.
Goes over and it's in bad shape. It's a masonry dam, and to remove it, to look into funding, because they do have, the state does have funds for removal of dams. It's like a big thing now, in the dam removal part.
Okay.
For the fishermen and all the, I'm not a fisherman that much, but I know with the trout and all that, they talk about dam removal now, and it restores Mother Nature. So that could be one route to look at versus, selling it to somebody at a cost of blank. I know there was discussions many decades ago about, across the street was the Art Students League, they used to call it, and we used to visit that, and then they wanted to purchase it, and then the town wanted to purchase it, and it was talk of it, going this way and that way. But to restore it, it's probably not worthwhile
No, no, it doesn't serve us any purpose,
or breach it, because it's
other than
not,
more of a
it's not a
liability.
storage, supply anymore.
Right.
It was back in, 1900 it was.
Well, when the new supervisor for the town of Woodstock is in place January 1st, and maybe that's an opportunity he's talked about going up and meeting with her, and maybe
Yeah, definitely be introducing myself.
that's a discussion point about, this isn't,
As for one, I remember Judy said she knew all the parties, maybe she would get us all together to see if we can just the other.
the interesting one about Reservoir One is, and that was just in the paper, where the town of Ulster or Woodstock, that little development that's going in there, and I don't know how close our land is on Reservoir One to that project. You made it seem like we butt against that.
I believe they're ordering. I don't know exactly what their plans are, so.
Yeah,
How money should be spent on obviously Cooper Lake and Reservoir Four? That's your emergency reservoir.
Right,
Those two, the other two,
right, we just, their excess,
right, four and two, it's excess to some degree. We
Yeah.
weren't sure many years ago about restoring, but one is, I said, the capacity is down to 1 million gallons, so it's,
soaked it in, and yeah.
Where's 4?
Or is kind of across the street from one.
What's that road?
It's on Xena Highway.
Not Xena Road.
It's on Xena.
It goes between Sawkill and out to 28.
That's Xena. So Xena
Xena?
Highwoods is where one is, and
Close to
Xena
the
is
Shelf Reservoir.
where Stewart's is, on 28.
Remember when we-
Almost the end, it's up there, that's 4,
2 years ago, we had 2 years ago with the drought, or last year,
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
I think,
Um,
4, 3.
I think we took a visit. I know I did. I don't
I think it
know.
was Jim, and I think it was.
That was before I came.
Yeah, he was on.
Oh,
I
okay.
think Jim had gone.
Well, it's the one on,
When the
you
pump-
said Xena Highwoods Road? What-
That's where we,
Xena, so Xena Highwoods is where PTF is, and then
Okay,
it's Xena Road.
that's
That
where
runs
we
in-
would
that runs
pump
in
the
the jungle.
Spokane to the, to.
that was,
If we had to.
right, but then what we found out was the water quality in that reservoir was decent enough for us to just use that. We had to put a pump. We put a temporary pump in for that summer and had a pump out of there, but it was pretty close to the PTF and into the plant right there, so it was,
Your show can would go to the PTF, but it would run through the wood therefore.
It has about
So
70
it dumps
million
right-
gallons of
we put it right to
storage.
the pipeline.
So you
not to the
divide it by
reservoir.
4,
So we
It
would
just,
take it.
it doesn't
20
actually,
days almost in
fill
storage,
4.
like, God forbid.
It wouldn't, no,
Make it-
the original,
make it so
original
that-
plan, it was to put.
Right,
into
well,
the-
and it did that
we did-
that summer.
Goes into like a pipe straight into PTF. It's hard to explain, but we'll do that tour. I can
Yeah.
show you where everything is, and
I mean, if
Easier.
anything, we talked about working on that reservoir, like I said, trying to develop something where you don't have to bring it in a temporary pumping. I mean, literally it was a pump on a trailer. And they had to go up there and fill it with diesel fuel every day or whatever.
That's the emergency connection at 4, and the CIP is a permanent pump house.
Okay, so it's on there, okay. So, yeah, I mean, let's wait until this, January or so, or have that conversation with Woodstock and see if there's any interest from the town about using that property. I mean, we can sell it or give it to the town and eliminate our liability of the dam
Taxes.
and taxes, yeah. Okay. But yeah, look it over. If you have any questions, we can have a,
That stream, the beaver kill one, do they inspect, is that inspected regularly, the one that beaver kills?
Oh, the McCall.
okay.
Oh, wait, no, is that which one is where we're crossing?
Chief's Opus.
Yeah,
That's
that's
where
still-
the 3 mains.
that's still exposed, right? Like, how many exposed lines do we have that
You
cross?
can see it in a few spots, like even coming down 212, where it crosses the Sawkill a couple times. You can see, like, it's in concrete, and you go up like where the post office is, or further down from the post office, where there's a bridge on 212. You can actually see the concrete and the stream of water as well.
Oh, in the village of Woodstock.
Yeah, just past the Bearsville Cub Market there, that bridge that they redid 3 years ago, you can actually see it when it crosses the Sawkill. You can see the concrete.
But the pipe is in the concrete.
It is, yeah.
That's the case.
I mean, at one point in time, a long time ago, there was a possibility of a connection to the Woodstock water system right there. I mean, but
That's,
I don't think
that's farther down on Tinker Street.
Oh,
where
is it?
that old emergency connection is. It's right where the turn is.
oh, okay,
I don't know what the cross street is, but that bridge, there's a lot of bridges in Woodstock.
Right.
There, so it's,
well, you're talking about the one
that's
that's up
closer
in
to the actual
Bearsville.
center of the village. Is where the emergency connection
Right.
for the town.
You're talking about the one up in
Yeah,
Bearsville.
closer past the highway garage.
Okay.
But it crosses the Sawkill, a couple times on the way down. It
How
crosses
often,
the Esopus as well.
how often do we inspect those?
I mean, that pipe is under pressure, so there's limited things to do in terms of finding leaks. There's no pressure in that pipe.
I think you'll notice
You can't even really, I don't
In-
know how
in
you
the
find
plant,
the leaks there.
pressure differences, and if they see a pressure differential, they'll know that there's a problem someplace along the line, then they.
I mean, we were up there walking it during the drought and saw they're doing the bridges over there. State's redoing all the bridges in the town. There's like 4 or 5 of them they're gonna be redoing. We're gonna see them all then during that project. We've been looking at them as they've been planning. Originally, they were gonna try to move it. That's now been taken off the table. They're just gonna go around. So. But they're going from Bearsville, it's office all the way down to the last bridge on 212. So I think it's 5 or 6.
Other mains to get, back in the 80s, one of the mains got undermined by a creek. So we had to go in and take it, and Joe Woods at that time was superintendent, he got arrested because he was going in without a permit to put concrete, to stay there.
Probably the pictures out there on that wall when you walk.
Yeah,
out. There's pictures of the bridge collapsed and the main.
So how many
No,
mains do we have coming down from Cooper Lake? Just one.
Well, we had, starts off from Cooper, to, plant, and you have 1 to 2. But what scares me is the one main that we have from Cooper down through the town of Woodstock. We have that one main,
Right,
212.
and that's,
and what size is that?
it's what, 24?
it's a 24
Yeah.
most of the way.
Kind of scary. That's one that has been looked at about, man, maybe look at it again, and maybe in the future lining it inside structurally to look at it. Because it has, leadite joints. The joints are, they're a long time, and, they tend to leak leadite joints over time. They're not lead, but they're leadite, just like the form of lead.
There's no pressure.
It's open.
Not until
That's why
reservoir.
it's open.
Reservoir 2 is where it
Yeah.
starts to go. So you got like a pound and a half or 2 pounds of pressure at reservoir 2. And it builds slowly to the PTF. But it still doesn't really get a lot of pressure between there.
You're leaking water, it's leaking water.
It's not leaking water, but
Okay.
it structurally should be looked at. Just, it's carrying, it's on the traffic lane. So it's
Yes.
carrying traffic every day in
Yes.
Woodstock.
Yeah,
It's an old main, cast iron main, 100 years old. Could be looked at, be televised one day, maybe, just to
Mhm.
see, make sure everything is okay, and then the answer to that is to probably line it inside with structural liner. And it'll be good for another 100 years plus. Something to look at in the future.
Big bill. Lining that,
Everything's a big bill, man.
Yeah, yes. Oh, we have to depends how long they do it, so it's gonna need the flow, it's only a line that takes the flow from Cooper down to the plant. You take that out of service, there's no water coming down,
right.
so we
Depends
got
on
to
how
divide
long.
on 4
It's
and,
not-
any water.
Mhm.
Something. to
Do it
look
in
at.
sections, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Take it out for a day.
You have to do it in
That's
phases,
something we
yeah.
need to do.
Okay, well. The capital improvement plans there for your inspection and. We'll review it on a later date.
Big nut's gonna be the filter plant. Eventually, rehabilitation is, Matt's been pointing out. Those filters should be looked at, I don't know if are they gonna look at the proposal tonight, Ron?
Well, it's here
I
on,
have it, so I mean.
Yeah, it's not on the agenda,
we can have it
but-
in there.
I don't know if you
Yeah, we can jump to that if you want.
want
It's
to do
kind of in the
that.
same vein here.
Okay.
So the filter evaluation. from
Filter
CDM,
evaluation,
to get an engineering report for potential grants.
do we need,
Or
do we
funding.
need to deal with that and approve?
Sooner rather than later, if the hope is to do an engineering report that's going to meet the deadlines for the engineering reports and WIA grants. CDM will have to get going without too much delay. So the number was 67.
67.
67.
Yeah, well, I heard Bill talking earlier about the first phases of those filters were done in 2005. Time flies.
Seems like yesterday, doesn't it?
It sure does. That must mean I was here, because I remember dealing with all that stuff. I couldn't, I thought that would be like the other thing, I thought,
10 years ago.
yeah, I thought the second ones were done like 5 years ago, and the first ones were done like 10 years ago. I knew there was two different time frames we did them,
So the media was all done in 16,
right,
but the underdrains were all done different. So this had come up with, we had discussed that the filter media was going to have to be done at some point. And while we were looking at that, Derek and I started talking, and the piping in the gallery and the outside filter bodies themselves, they look fairly rough in terms of some of the pictures we've seen and when they were redone. So it was like, if we need to do something with the exterior of the filters, the assumption would be, and CDM kind of confirmed that we'd have to redo the media if we ever did anything on the outside. It would all be done. So if we
So
want to do
if
media
you're doing
now,
media, it's
then
time to
we
do
don't
it.
want to
Do it-
waste
do it.
8 years of media and throw it out. Because once it's
Right.
out, you're not going to get it back in. So that was why I had reached out for a proposal from CDM to see if there was money to potentially rehab the gallery and the filters and do the media all at one time, rather than do the media now and then in 2 years, get rid of the media and redo everything from the bottom up again.
What do you do?
but you don't have the gallery piping in this proposal,
It
do you?
is, in here. So it's on. It's number.
You're talking about the alternatives under task 9.2?
So 9.1. CDM will. And the filter gallery piping system. So the second paragraph after 9.1. CDM will engage a qualified inspector to arrest corrosion and condition of existing coating systems with 16 filters, interior.
Okay, and the filter
And the filter gallery.
gallery
piping
piping system, okay.
So some of the supports, some of those valves, I mean, Derek's been there for 23 years and he's never seen some of those valves turned. You should be able to isolate it. We can turn off individual filters, but I think the plant was originally designed where you could isolate it into quarters if you needed to.
Mm-hmm.
And the question of how and if that could be done currently is not really known. And touching those valves just to see if they work is a dangerous game to play.
Yeah,
23 years, and as far as you know, some of those crossover valves and sections of the gallery have never been turned.
So do you have any idea which 8 of the filters they were planning on inspecting? I mean, they said,
Well, it was done half and half. Original 8. So it should be like 4 and 4. Take 4 of one of the originals and then back 4 that were a little newer. Something like that.
I'm just, they just said that
Yeah.
the plan is to,
I mean, the rivets, you gotta look at the rivets, when they inspect, this professional inspector, they're gonna have as a sub, according to this. You know, should be able to look at the rivets and see which ones have the most deterioration around the rivets and seams, that's where the corrosion is occurred. You know, most likely, most damage.
And we have data on the individual filters as well to see how they're performing. So that could also determine which up to
Mhm.
8 could, it says up to the 8 filters that will be inspected. So we have data on all of them. We know 13 doesn't air scour, so that's not quite as reliable.
well, obviously, will be part of that discussion about which 8 they choose to open up and go in
We
and,
have it's all there. I mean, they're monitored 24/7.
and
I just wish that they would put, I just got it now, what the wording, I would like to see, the CDM in their report, say, we want a life expectancy. Part of the report, that the engineers use the term life expectancy.
hang
Should be
on,
in here. But, you know, that they'll indicate each filter and the life expectancy of each one is 20 years, rehab it's another 100 years, see. That terminology should be added into this proposal.
Matt, there's a question I'm asking to my second meeting. Is there a trigger for any part of the system to end up in here?
And I'm not sure I understand the,
Okay, I mean, is there, when you decide what you have to start looking at and allocating money to repair or replace something? How do you identify what you're gonna repair or replace?
so I mean, part of that is that capital improvement plan that we're trying to put together to help
Right,
do that a little
You're
bit.
putting it together, what determines of the whole system? Does the capital improvement plan cover the whole system
Yeah, so that's,
as a starting point? Or is there something else that's the starting point? That's what I'm asking.
I mean, the capital improvement, for that, I went everything, even things that we would really never really do realistically, I threw that in there as well. With something like the filter gallery, it's so critical.
Yeah.
That it has to be done. So we need to have those functioning in a way that if that media ever got to the point where it wasn't doing what it needed to be, we would violate.
a lot of it is life expectancy, as Jim said, so, you know, the guys, the supervisor up there at the plant, the chief operator, you know, have conversations, say, well, you know, these have been in here, the filter media has been in here 20 years. The recommendation is to replace it every 5 to 10. You know, we need to do that, so that kind of gets up higher on the priorities list to actually deal with it.
And yeah, Ray, when you get a chance, on page 34, there's a ranking that he ranked it by necessity, years, and if you get a chance, look at his rating here, like you asked, the priorities. They're in here.
Some of the,
Right, well,
The only thing would override it was an emergency. The only thing that should override this capital plan is the emergency
Right.
pops up.
yeah, well, normally, like, I mean, this is like a kind of like insurance broker coming through, but it's relevant. Is that normally with things you have, there's one of 2 ways, either it's you have a schedule where something's got a useful life, or you got a problem. Okay, and, you know, there's a whole line of insurance called boiler and machinery coverage, which deals with the problems. But the problems can be very expensive, very disruptive. And you want to try to short circuit, like what, you know, Dennis just said there about, you know, the replacement useful life of something is 5 to 10 years and it's 20. You know, theoretically, that should never happen.
So it's 20, so we're at 9 for the media.
Yeah,
So for this particular example here is we had started looking at media and getting
Right.
quotes.
Mhm.
And the quotes were quite expensive.
Mhm.
So then it was, well, let's take a look at what else we might need to do before we get to the 10-year life of that media. So
Yeah.
why put the media in when you think you might have to do something in the next 2 to 3 with the gallery? So that's how it started with the timeline of, we're at almost 10 years for the media, let's price it out for doing and
Right.
replacing, and then it was, well, while we're doing that, maybe we need to think about doing the outsides as well, because there's certain parts of the interior of the filters that are gonna have to be replaced when the media is replaced for the air scours and the under drains. We know some of them are broken,
Mhm.
based on things we're seeing, and some of the air scours just don't work.
Yeah.
Then it was the exterior of the filters are gonna need to be looked at too, because if 3 years we do that, we just wasted 7 years of good media. That's
Yeah.
very expensive.
See, I mean, I'm just, I have some experience with water utilities, I got a lot of experience with electric utilities. And other, big real estate stuff, and I gotta tell you, see, I'm like dead against letting these things go a long time, just because of all the problems I've seen in my working life. And my feeling is you have to stay on top of the stuff, and you gotta fix it when it's gotta be fixed, and you gotta just pay for it. That's, you're just asking for so much trouble if you don't do that.
Yeah, and what,
Yeah.
but with the budget, we're trying to,
No, I mean.
That way in between, because otherwise-
It applies to the cost, but I'm just telling you, my long-term experience of 45 years is, it never pays to do that. Never pays to do that. In the long run.
Yeah, so just the media alone was gonna be between 2 to 4 million, which is why we don't wanna
Yeah.
not get the most life out of that as we can. So that's
Yeah.
why I was, well, we have an opportunity to do the exterior and the piping at the same time,
Mhm.
we can get more bang for the buck.
Throwing in my 2 cents.
I mean, one of the other things that raises the rating or the priority is if it's in violation, or it's a mandate by something, the dam.
Mhm.
We were pretty much fine with the dam. But, DEC saying you're in violation with your dam's not to code compliant.
Mhm.
So that got pushed to the top of the list.
Yeah.
Both Cooper and Binney Water.
Mhm.
So. And that's what's gonna happen probably maybe with the lead service lines. Lead service lines are gonna be mandated. Well, I'm just, that's what ends up making it a higher priority is.
Yep.
What gets popped to the top of the list is things like that.
And I'll just add one thing, this is just kind of general food for thought. I see things, costs going up all over the place. But I never fell out of my chair over my water bill. But you have to understand, if the water system stops working, the property values in Kingston drop to 0. So to me, that's what this stuff is. I mean, I'm not trivializing, you gotta take that 2 million, you gotta spread it over the people, like it's gotta be paid, all that stuff, but you have to do it. That's my feeling, so.
So do we wanna approve this contract with CDM Smith? Do the evaluation, maybe as part of that, you can ask them to include the life expectancy that Jim referenced.
I can reach out to Laura tomorrow.
The only other question I had was, it is assumed that CDM Smith will have a representative on site during the filter and piping assessment. Well, who's doing the assessment?
So,
Well, for somebody that does the
Okay,
analyzing the rivets and the metal in terms of thickness and everything like that. So
I guess I just don't like the, I mean, if their proposal for 67,000 includes one of the representatives being there for 2 or 3 days. I mean, maybe that's the assumption, and that's what we're paying for.
yeah, I would assume so. I mean, if you want me to get clarification on that, I mean, I can do that as well. And
They also didn't include the outside professional service, the amount, they gave a rough estimate of the outside, or that's what is being charged. If you read the second sentence of the proposal. Proposal not to exceed 67,000, multiply it. Outside professional services, we build at a cost plus 10%. The amendment will increase the overall project limit to 171.
that's because this is an amendment for
What's that?
this is amendment number 3. The 171 includes, I mean, I can look up and see what other projects that was, but I think this is the engineering report we did for the IUP this past year.
So this is
So
kind of
it's
an
the same agreement,
add on
like
to
a-
the.
It's like a change order, so to speak. an
Add
amendment.
on. to change
That's
order.
what the 171 is. So that's not 171 for the filters. It's 67 for the filter piece.
And that includes the sub.
Yes. So the 171 is the other two pieces for this contract.
Um. Yeah, we're looking for the engineering report. I mean. Who would be the subcontractor? Roberts Filters?
No,
No?
I doubt it. That-
No,
Robert's
Paul had a
Filters-
couple of companies that he
No,
was gonna reach out to. I don't know who
they-
they
check
found.
Inspections, they go in and they measure the thickness of the steel and the original steel versus what's left and see how much, that's why I want to see the life expectancy of each filter. If you give 16 filters and his life expectancy on each one. Once they do the corrosion and so forth on each filter, we take the thickness, of each one.
Are they gonna be doing that, you know?
I know
Is
that
that part of the,
Paul had talked about it. I know he was gonna reach out to some companies to see who would do what.
But there are testing labs, you send it out, hey, coupon, a little piece out, sometimes send a coupon to the lab. That's common.
I mean, my hope is we're gonna bring people in. It just doesn't look great, but it's better than. I mean, they were done, we looked at the pictures you go back through and they were nice and pretty for what seems to be like a year, and then just, it's constantly moist and it's just not the best environment for paint. So that's my hope, is it's much better than I think it is, and we can just do the media and move on. But I need.
Okay, it's just aesthetics and not.
Yeah, it's kind of, best case scenario. I mean, some of the valves, I'm sure need some work done to them, but I guess that's why I was looking for this proposal to get a better picture of what we got going.
Okay. I'll need a,
motion?
motion, I'll make a motion to accept the, what is called?
The filter evaluation contract with CDM for 67,000.
Yes, I'll make that motion.
I have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, those in favor? Opposed? And carried. Lead service?
Again, just, I know we had talked about it, it's coming, in the next couple of weeks. So we had talked, I'd shown everybody the letter that I was planning to include with the described form letter from New York State, the template that New York State included, where the language can't really be altered. So including this extra page, I took the comments that people had, in terms of edits, and I put those in there. Add the electronic bills at the bottom. Then we also have the social media posts that will go out. But that letter will be essentially a cover page to the letter that has the diagrams, the health effects, explaining what a lead service is, steps you can take to reduce, and ways you can get tested for lead, or you feel you've been exposed, all that stuff, and that's all from the state health department. And there's only limited things that we can change. Basically, you put in Kingston Water Department, the rest is our phone number and a couple emails, and the rest is there to be used. So hopefully this cover page explains it a little bit. Also personal level, I guess. Maybe we'll limit some of the calls that we received last year, unless people have questions that this doesn't answer. But I feel like a lot of the questions can be answered by reading this if people actually read it.
Looks good.
This is well worth the extra page
Yes.
in the envelope, so thank you.
Yeah, because I can imagine it, getting that official letter, it was, pretty scary for people.
Well, they just see lead, they see lead,
Yeah,
and they call you before they read.
Yeah, and then the cost to them, how's it gonna, that's extremely expensive, so.
so hopefully this year goes a little smoother. We got a little more time to plan, because I mean, that template letter came out last year. I mean,
Like the week before you had the ballot.
pretty much. I mean, it was close. There wasn't really any time at all to prepare for what was gonna have to be out, because there was deadlines to meet. So this is a little bit softer when you open that piece of mail, so.
Okay,
So that'll be happening maybe
Couple of weeks.
a week or two, and we'll put it on social media. We'll go to color page to print and stuff the envelopes.
Okay.
There's no financial incentive for the customer to receive e-bills. Do they got a credit on their bill?
No, it saves
Save
us
you
the
the
postage.
postage mailing it back in.
Or you got to print it.
And more efficient bill
Yeah,
processing.
yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be much.
We get the bills like instantly compared to waiting a long time for them to come. in the
Or
mail.
not show up in the
Or
mail,
not show
which seems to be a lot of phone calls, where I never got my mail.
It's
And
true.
we count every one before they go out, so we know we take it to the post office, they're literally counted. So we know we get them to the post office, where they go after that, we can't do anything about, so,
That was not.
no. That's an understatement.
All right, let's jump back up and do bills and accounts.
Make a motion to accept the bills and accounts.
Second.
Okay, any questions, discussions? Those in favor?
I-
Opposed? Okay. Annual board meetings on.
Yeah, so this had come up, I want to say, no, what, not month, are we in? Last month, October?
Month. Questions
So-
raised.
We had, Mike had did some research and Bill also talked to Mike and I talked to Bill, and we seem pretty confident that it is in June, because the water department was founded on May 27th, 1895. So their first meeting was probably on June 1st, or that month of June in 1895. I don't really have anything to prove that's the case, but it seems logical.
Mm-hmm.
Why everything else we do is January to December, and this is not January to December, but that seems to be a pretty safe bet as to why it's June to June.
You
Or
can
even
change,
to
you
May.
can change it. You can never vote by the board if you want to make it substantively. The January 1st operating year, you're just amending the minutes of the annual meeting we had.
Nobody wants
Will the annual meeting be changed then? Yeah, right, we'd have to coincide with the election of officers and the dates of, but then their terms at some point in time will be either extended or reduced. If we decide to change it.
Changing the annual meeting changes the terms of the commissioners.
No, he's saying at the.
Well, the commissioners' terms end June 1st or May 31st.
No, but you're saying though, like if we elect Dennis president in June. If we hold another meeting in January, do we do it 6 months later? And then he gets appointed again?
But
For the remainder of that year regardless, right? And then that, so yeah.
Well, and the same thing with commissioners being appointed, the commissioners are on a 5-year rotating term. Right now, their terms expire and start May 31st, June 1st. They would have to be extended to correspond.
That may be a little harder.
yeah, you,
Right.
Yeah, you just say they now they expire at the end of the annual year of their 5th year,
Okay, I mean,
the annual meeting, so you're gonna change January 1st for that.
good, I just don't know if it's
I
worth
I mean,
all the
it's in the
extra.
books,
Is that
right?
in the charter? Though? That when the board members are appointed?
Just 5-year terms. That's what I was.
Just that.
Just 5-year terms.
We're doing the charter over again. Did you hear that?
I heard that. Yeah, I think that's a, yeah, so that would.
Another age, yeah.
I mean, the only,
I mean, I don't know what it actually affects in the grand scheme, but if it makes sense to do it in line with the budget, I don't think it hurts anything either.
well, to me, it's just another thing you have to do at the end of the year or the beginning of the year, as opposed to, I mean, personally, I don't have a problem with it doing it in.
I mean, for us, it's printing out an extra piece of paper. It's one piece of paper for the minutes and an extra 5 minutes at the beginning of the meeting. I mean, even the committees at this point, the board is only 6 people with emails. I mean,
Right.
most things are emailed to everybody for opinions most of the time anyway. So even the committees aren't quite as important as they might have been at one point.
Is there desperate need to change it?
You know, I think the question was raised that, but
Yeah, we just did the research because it was asked. I mean,
Right.
it's-
I personally don't see a need to. Yeah, change anything at this point in time. I mean, the June meeting is probably less hectic time.
Worked for 150 years so far, it's okay.
Yeah,
Let's just say it's inconvenient for me, but I am going to be retiring probably in not this June, but next June.
Yeah.
And that's just because I have all my end of the year things. And I,
mhm,
so I will perhaps, you know, especially now when I'm towards the end, I have a lot of friends who are retiring. And I always, it's almost always the union retirement meeting is the day of our thing. So I usually just go for maybe half hour and I leave. So, you know, but I'm retiring in a couple of years, so, you know.
Maybe one July meeting, you'll show up and find out you're the president.
Well, it was a surprise, the meeting was my secretary.
The old adage. Don't miss a meeting, you never know, you're gonna get appointed to. So let's leave it, at least for now, leave it alone, I guess.
Yeah, so, yeah, if there's something comes up, I'll try to maybe in the May ask for it to be changed to a week before, or a week after. You know, if it does.
We do that June 1st or July 1st?
The
June
June
1st,
meeting,
right.
so whatever the second Wednesday in June is.
June 10th, second Wednesday.
Correspondence?
No, but I do have one other thing that I got after the board packets went out. So this is from Schnabel, so Cooper. It's a proposal to do quarterly instrumentation readings, biannual surveying, and produce an inspection and maintenance plan that meets the specs for DEC, rules and regs of DEC for inspection and maintenance plan of the dams. So this would be, the inspection and maintenance is a one-time thing. The readings would be, the readings and the surveying would go one for 2025 and then through the end of 2027. It's basically, there's survey points that were done before Thale left, and you check for settlements or movements on the dam and make sure it's doing everything as designed.
What was the costume?
The cost is $66,200.
Next year, right?
Nope, that's through the end of 2027. So that includes 12,000 for the inspection and maintenance plan. And then that's 5 biannual surveys at $4,000 piece for 20,000. And then 9 quarterly readings of the instrumentation at $3,800 for a total of $34,200.
If there is an issue, who fixes the issue? Like, do we get a warranty? We don't get like a warranty on the dam from.
From the contractor.
At this point, I mean, it's been more than a year, so. But it's just,
Is this mandated by DEC as part of us having a high hazard dam? Or is this just something that they're offering to do?
so we have all the, as part of the dam project, they installed all these collection points at the dam. Actually, I don't know if this is directly written into DEC's monitoring. I don't believe that it is.
I mean,
We
we
can send
were,
this out and we can look at it in December as well.
yeah, well, let's not make a decision right now.
Sounds like a la carte, like, oh, by the way, we also offer
Yeah, we
this
can-
service.
We put all these neat things in here, you know, if they wanna come up and do it on their own without,
Yeah.
you know,
we want
so they
to
can build
permit
out
the dam, they could-
a history
I know.
of data to present to other people who want
Yeah,
dams.
they want to use us as a test
Yeah,
case.
yeah,
but-
yeah, we'll only charge you $10,000 to come and take the readings.
Also, I can send this all out. I just got this.
Yeah.
Was it Tuesday?
You think that's something we need, or what do you?
I mean, DEC routinely
I mean, we definitely need the inspection.
inspects the dams on a
That we need.
routine basis.
It's a high hazard dam, so we definitely, I forgot, there definitely is a requirement in the law on high hazard. How often you have to make an annual inspection.
we have to pay for it, or they have
The
to?
owner, us.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how, where it would fall, like, I mean, the inspection and maintenance plan has to be done.
Yeah,
I know on the original one, we had to do it, and that's. And hired them to do a
Right.
report of which they identified all
right.
the violations
Right.
of the DEC.
No,
Dam
there is a
regs.
requirement by the state, high hazard, how often. By law, you have to do the inspection by PD.
Okay,
You should check that.
well, why don't you research that in between now and next month, and we'll figure out if this inspection or this data would include.
Yeah.
Include that.
I can find out the name of the fellow, the dam inspector at the
Warren,
Warren.
that's what we deal with, is Warren.
Yeah, he would know in 2 seconds how often you're required.
Probably
by
just
law.
go into the regulations. And read through them, and it'll- pretty obvious there. Okay, we'll deal with that next month then. Okay, the next one needs to go into executive session or not?
I sent that email out, so if anybody has any questions, you can do that.
I don't have any.
Well, the point being is the salary schedule for management, right?
Correct.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah, I know.
you want him to leave
You
or
have a
not?
question, you want to go into that?
Well, I don't know.
It's up to the board.
You know, I don't have is there a problem with what you recommended?
Yeah, there's a water.
No,
All right.
well, Mike can stay then, I mean. I'm assuming he's aware of this.
Yes,
Okay. So. What we sent out was. Salary schedule for management for. Well, the next 2 years is what it is,
yes.
okay? In your packet. And so I guess the motion to accept it is what we're looking for. Right,
I'll make a motion.
do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any further discussion regarding the salary schedule? Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's carried. Thank you. Superintendent's report. Any questions? Still about 4 inches down yearly on rainfall.
Yeah, but I mean, the dam is right where it always
That's
is. We've already
yeah.
gained. Based on this, I mean. Almost 7/10 since the beginning of the month. So, I mean, we're back up to where we would be at the end of the month, so we're following the.
Yeah, I mean, you're right at.
The elevation is more important than the rainfall.
Yeah,
Because we also use a lot less water than we had been 5, 6 years ago. In terms of what we're producing, so we don't need as much, so, I mean, the elevation is right where we would expect it to be, so it's climbing back up already. from
And
October.
the stream is flowing.
Yeah, we got, I mean, it was over the weir this morning, so we got a significant amount of water coming down for the moment. It lasts a lot longer when it gets cold like this, nothing's strengthening it up, so.
True, yeah, the sun is less.
August versus the rain you get in November, that water lasts a lot longer in that creek.
Okay, if there's no questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion to accept the superintendent's report.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
Okay, do I have a second? Second. Okay, any other questions other than, okay, those in favor? Opposed? All right,
Yeah, so I just make a note, and it was in the report, but I just wanna thank you, Matt, and your entire team for working so hard on the Golden Hill project. I know that they're officially cutting the ribbon on Friday, but your team did a great job working with the county, and I know it wasn't easy, but I just want to say thank you.
congratulations.
Which, speaking of that project,
Mhm.
I don't have anything for the board right now, but possibly in February or March, I might have some proposals looking for approval that the county's going to pay for. They're gonna go to the legislator in February to fund upgrades to the Golden Hill pump station to get it up on our SCADA system so we can monitor that 24/7. There's a few other small things
The
in there
tank?
as well.
Thinking of
No,
fixing
the pump
tank?
station.
No, just,
So this is kind of
Maybe they should,
something we need to do like now. So they're gonna double the usage if it hits what they're predicting with those housing. So we're gonna increase the size of the hypo tote, basically double that, so we got twice as much chlorine in there. And put it up on SCADA, so the plant can monitor 24/7, so if the chlorine would ever drop out or anything were to happen, we can see it and get alarms.
this is for the county, right now you can't monitor the county.
You have to be in the pump station to see certain things.
right now they go up and physically,
They go there at least twice a week. And they go into the building, they look at the charts and they check fill the chlorine up. So this would allow us to see all that from the plant. So if there was an issue, we would know we have to go out there and do it. So it'd be no cost to the water department, the county is looking to fund it themselves, but it would be through existing agreements with CDM. And then reaching out to PCS and hiring them, we'd just be reimbursed like we are for everything else we do up there. So they're gonna go, Brendan said, in February, looking to fund it.
they only have to take chlorine residuals.
So it's taken, but we can't see it.
Oh, it's taken,
It's there on the equipment.
mechanically it's
You
taken,
just
it's not taken.
The plant can't see it if it were to drop out to zero. I mean,
Okay. Well, they have
it's
an
not-
automatic
it's-
reader.
It's taking water from the tank that has chlorine in it anyway, so it's never gonna drop out completely, but it's all, the equipment's in the pump station. It's just not tied into the SCADA system.
Okay.
They had been
So you got,
offered the
you got,
opportunity in
you got an
2018.
automatic chlorine analyzer.
Yeah, it's all there. It's just basically wiring that to a box. that's gonna go
At
on the
one
wall.
point in time, I thought we were actually physically going up there on a daily basis and taking a manual chlorine.
At one point, they might have been.
Then this isn't the Glen Street, the Glen Street one's ours, this is the
Pump
county's.
station.
Okay,
By UCAD there.
okay.
So it'd basically be the cost of the 2 boxes, so we can see it. It's a big gray box, called RPU panel. And we just wire the equipment that's there into that panel. We'd be able to see when the pumps run, when they're pulling water, because right now we can only tell when they pull water based on the level of our tank. This would allow us to actually see if they're actively pulling water out of our tank. So they were given the opportunity in 2018 to do it when we were doing our SCADA back then. They never went anywhere, so now they're trying again because monitoring it more often, or having the ability to see it more often now, they're gonna double the usage up there is more important.
And what was the solution to basically eliminating the Glen Street tank?
I think they're looking at as a longer term capital project in terms of them putting up a larger tank. That's a much higher price tag. So that was kind of there seemed to be an appetite necessarily to do that right now, but it's their system, so
Because the way they're pumping, we're only using half of that.
only the top half for
That
that
tank is
tank
being
is usable.
So the county, microcosm.
Fill the tank in with concrete. The bottom half.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So yeah, that was just a FYI, nothing to do at the moment. When it is, it's an easy one because the county will foot the bill if they
Yeah.
approve it.
Okay. Anything else other than I'll entertain a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
In favor?
All right.
Opposed? You all.